Okay, so we want to find a polynomial, and we're going to use these theorems that we've been talking about to find a polynomial. All right, it says find a fourth degree polynomial. Okay, it's fourth degree, so that means we're going to have 4 zeros and 4 factors. Okay, and it's going to have real coefficients. They tell us 3 zeros. There's a 0, -3, 2, and I. But because there's an I, we know there's also the conjugate of that, which is going to be -I, okay? And then we also have this piece of information. F of -2 equals 100. Now, we can keep that in mind. We'll come back to that idea toward the end. Okay, so we have a function, and a function that has zeros, a polynomial function that's going to have these zeros, is going to be in the form a times x minus c sub 1 times x minus c sub 2 dot 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 x minus c sub n. So we know it's fourth degree, so n is 4. And so I've got to have 4 linear factors. I don't know what a is. That's the part I'll come back to. But I know I'm going to have x minus -3, x minus 2, x minus I, and x minus -I. Okay, so I take all these zeros that I have, the 4 zeros that I have, and I make them into linear factors. Now I'm going to simplify that. And so it's going to look like that. Now, let's see. They want us to multiply this out. Okay. I might, before I multiply it out, I'm going to multiply some stuff. Okay. So I've got a times x plus 3 times x minus 2. And I'm going to go ahead and multiply these last two, the ones with the I in it. So I'm going to have x squared, the middle term is going to drop out, and then it's going to be minus I squared. And that's going to simplify to be x squared plus 1. Okay, so I no longer have the I showing up in the polynomial. Okay, now what do I want to do from here? I have to figure out what a is eventually. I think it would be easier to do it now than later. So I'm going to use this piece of information, and it says x is -2. When x is -2, it's going to equal 100. So if I write f of -2, I would have a times -2 plus 3, -2 minus 2, and then -2 squared plus 1, and that all has to equal 100, okay? So it's saying this little piece of information here, this piece right there, is saying when x is -2, you evaluate it to get 100. So because I have the polynomial in terms of x and a, if I know x is -2, and the whole thing's going to equal 100, I can figure out what a is. All right, so I'm going to scroll up and do that. So I get a times 1 times -4 times 5, and that's equaling 100. I'm going to erase this equal sign because it's bugging me. Okay, so then I get what? -20 equal, -20a, sorry, equals 100, so a equals -5. Now, do they want me to multiply it out to be in polynomial form? So I have f of x, and I'm talking about taking this line right there. I now know a is -5. I have x plus 3 times x minus 2 times x squared plus 1. I'm going to say they want me to multiply it out and put it in that general form. So how do I want to do that? Well, I'm going to multiply these two binomials here. So that's going to give me x squared plus x minus 6 times x squared plus 1. And you could always FOIL that out, you know, on the side or something. It might take more than one step. I would wait to distribute that constant. Okay, so now I've got this part here times this trinomial here. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute, and I'm going to get x to the 4th, and I'm just going to write them out in a line, plus x cubed minus 6x squared, and then the 1 is going to be 1 times x squared, and then that's what they would be. Is that all I get? Yeah, okay. So then I'm going to have negative 5 times x to the 4th plus x cubed. I got to combine the x squared terms. Minus 5x squared plus x minus 6. And then the last thing I'm going to do is go ahead and distribute the negative 5. Negative 5x to the 4th minus 5x cubed plus 25x squared minus 5x minus 6. And then I'm going to put a box around this, feeling very careful, feeling very confident. I'm going to look and see if I made a mistake. I did. Do you see what my mistake is? See if you can find it before I get it erased. Okay. I didn't go negative 5 times negative 6. I did all the other ones, and then I was like almost done, and I forgot to multiply. Okay, that looks better. So it's always nice to check. And that's the polynomial with real coefficients, and we're done.